Hello, this is the U.S. stocks and futures market preview and domestic economic data roadmap for the week beginning Monday, the 4th of November, 2013, and ending Friday, November 8th, 2013. Here's a look at the S&P daily chart. Been climbing pretty steadily here for about 2.5 weeks. We did get a 9-bar setup. We're 4 into a seeker count. It doesn't really tell us much about where the top might occur here looking at this chart. So certainly we're holding near highs. We did have a new closing high back on Tuesday for the year. Meanwhile, if we look at the NDX, the Nasdaq 100 index, what you'll notice here is that we did get that 13 sell signal about 10 days ago, and even though technically the pink risk line has been broken, we can't seem to get a close above it significantly. So I kind of consider that still in play, which leads me to believe that there's potentially more downside than upside here as a roll in the general market. Let's take a look at the SOX index, the SOX. Made a new closing high almost this week. Got a 13 sell signal 2 weeks ago. That risk line is still containing the market, so no signs of crawling out of that yet. The biotechs did roll over this week, heading back potentially towards that static trend line. Here's a look at the oil futures dropping even further on Friday, and again, we had targeted this red static trend line down here around 94. We are almost there. 6 bars towards the countdown phase of the seeker towards a buy signal, but this is going to be, new lows for the last couple of months here if we can just get under that red line. And potentially back into the 80s even. We'll see what happens there. Here's a look at gold, which hasn't done a lot, but did roll a little bit the last 2 days. So that's the daily charts. Now let's take a look at the intra-week action, what we saw this last week, starting with, we'll start with the ES futures. So we've got the S&P E-mini futures right here. This is 10-minute bars, so you can basically see Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and Monday. Last Friday's close. And just to recap what happened, flat open on Monday, drift higher. Gapped up Tuesday, did not fill the gap, drifted higher. Gap up Wednesday, filled the gap from the prior day, the same session as we headed lower. Thursday opened basically flat and closed flat. Remember, that was end of quarter right there, end of month right there. That was the Halloween, the last day of October, and then opened with a couple point gap up, rolled, filled that, closed about flat. For the week, we basically gained about 2 points on the S&P, and the total range for the week is about 22 points. So that's a pretty contained, narrow week on futures. Had a lot going on this week between the Fed and some other data that was delayed, and so here's a look at the Nasdaq side. This is a little more interesting. Here, Monday, flat opening, flat close. Tuesday, gapped up and filled that gap, closed a little higher. Wednesday, gapped up, filled the gap, closed a little lower. Thursday, gapped down, rallied a bit, closed where he started. Again, that's common for the last day or so of the month, basically flat action. Friday, gapped up, filled it, and closed about even. What's interesting here is the closes were almost all the same price all week long. Really went nowhere. This is we started the week, or last Friday's close is about 33.76, and here we are closing the week at 33.72. We had 33.76 in the last bar of the week here, so we did not do much at all in the Nasdaq futures, and only 40 points of range on the whole week here. That's not a lot. Also, what you'll notice is that the gap up gave us a Comer 13 sell signal that ended up being the high of the week. So some of the stocks that we look at were equally flat. This is Amazon, pretty contained for Amazon, 10 points of range for the whole week. Apple was largely untradeable for most of the days, except for the big gap up day where Rich nailed a nice reciprocal move to the downside there. Google drifted higher, but a lot of flat and unexciting ranges for even that stock. Tesla, not too exciting either. And Netflix, another fast trader we like. A lot of flat action, a lot of flat days there. So wouldn't call this the great week from a movement perspective, but we did pretty good with our picks. You can review all those in the market blog or in the reports. But overall, we had a couple days with 100% ratio, win ratio, 4 or 5, 6 trades triggered. They all worked at least to a partial. So nothing to complain about from that perspective. Let's look forward a week and see what's coming out economic data-wise. So on Monday, we've got factory orders from both August and September. Remember, one of them was delayed last month because of the government shutdown. So that'll be out at 10 a.m. Eastern time. ISM services on Tuesday, that one 30 minutes in can move the market a bit as well. That's Tuesday. On Wednesday, MBA mortgage index leading indicators 30 minutes in, back on schedule with the crude oil inventories. That's 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. By the way, don't forget we do have the time change this weekend here in the U.S., so everything gets pushed. People will be a little more awake when they come into work, hopefully. Thursday, Challenger job cuts, initial claims, continuing claims. That's a weekly number. Here's the big one: gross domestic product, the advanced look. This is a once a quarter look. The first look at Q3's GDP number. This was supposed to come out last week and did not. It's a big one to cause a gap more than likely. Natty gas inventories after that, consumer credit after that. Friday, another big one, unemployment rate for October. We just got the unemployment rate for September just over a week ago. That was delayed because of the government shutdown, so we're getting another one here, along with personal income, spending, PCE prices, Michigan sentiment, preliminary for November, and the JOLTS job opening. So Thursday and Friday really packed for the week with data as opposed to what we're seeing early. But all this, a lot of big numbers coming out. So with no more Fed, with the month of October behind us, with the government shutdown behind us, hopefully we can get back to some good trading action here off of these numbers, and we don't have to worry about end of month anymore. So we'll be looking forward to it, calling it from the room as usual and in our Twitter feeds, and charts as usual brought to you by eSignal 11. But we hope to see you in the trading lab with us so we can help you make some money. Have a great trading week.